Cenk in Istanbul, Turkey. Hi, Paul. I remember how you mentioned biamping is no more necessary with today's amp technologies. Did I say that? Probably did. But can't amplifying the highs with a tube amp and the lows with an AB or a D be considered to be similar to having a tube input stage and solid state output stage? Okay. The best of both worlds. What could be the drawback of this approach? I also keep reading that the room and speaker placement is of a higher importance than the quality of the equipment. Is that true? And if so, why aren't more speaker manufacturers putting gain dials on the mids and highs for better room matching of the speakers? Yikes, there's 3 questions. Let's start with the first one, which I've already forgotten what it is. All right, tube amps, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go to the trouble of adding a tube amplifier to, here's our FR5, right? You got a tweeter and you got a woofer. So if you wanted to go to the trouble of a tube amplifier specifically for the tweeter and a Class AB amplifier specifically for the woofer, you could do that, and you could probably gain some benefits by the synergy of the two, by tuning it with a very sweet top end. And yeah, you could wind up doing that and probably have some advantage. Couple of things to note. Make sure if you buy amp that the amplifiers have the same gain, or you can gain adjust them to do that, because one of the problems that you find is that amplifier gains are all over the map. I mean, some have 30, some have 24, some have 26, and you're going to really mess up the speaker if you don't have identical gains for each of those. But I think that's a lot of work and a lot of expense when, as I have said before, a modern amplifier like ones that we make, or amplifiers from companies like PS Audio that actually care about sound quality, I think you're going to be just fine. I mean, our top end on our amplifiers, this tweeter, this planar tweeter, is extremely revealing. So if you have a revealing loudspeaker like the kind that we make, and that's FR5 and any of the Aspen series, or Magnaplaners, or any decent revealing speaker, your amplifier choice is going to really matter a lot. And that's why when we make an amplifier, that top end's got to be as sweet as honey. So you don't need to add a tube amplifier to sweeten it up, because it's already pretty sweet. But that all gets down to just personal taste, and that's why I say modern amps today that are properly designed, I don't see a big benefit to it. I really don't. But you can do that, and maybe with the amps you're playing with, there would be a benefit. All right, 3 questions. That was one. The room and speaker placement is of high importance, higher than the quality of the equipment. It's a combination, but I would have to say that is kind of close. I have seen some of the most expensive equipment in the world sound like dog meat in a show because it wasn't set up properly. I unfortunately see that more often than not. Setup is an art. Setting a system up in a room, getting it to disappear, to be musical, to sing, that's an art. And it's why I wrote the book, The Loudspeaker, or The Stereo. Either one of those books is fine. And if you have a chance to read any of those and follow the step-by-step instructions, you'll find out that, in fact, that setup, if you do it right, even with just okay equipment, can make magic in your room. Setup is huge. So again, I've seen $1 million systems sound like because they weren't set up properly. And I've heard mediocre equipment sound magical because of setup. So yes. Lastly, why don't people put dials on the back of their speakers to turn the mid-range up and down, because that screws up the entire speaker. We work so hard to get these speakers to be flat that there's no need. In fact, you would be doing yourself a disservice to have a dial to turn the mid-range and the tweeter up and down. You don't want it. So setup is everything. So if your system needs a dial to turn the mid-range down, you got a setup problem or an amp problem. Could be. All right, enough of that. There you go. There's your 3 questions. Take it easy. Bye.